Imagine waking up one morning, checking your bank account, and realizing something doesn't add up. You work hard. You earn a decent income. You don't consider yourself reckless with money. You rarely make huge purchases. Yet somehow, at the end of every month, there isn't much left. No luxury yachts, no private jets, no designer shopping sprees. Just a long trail of small purchases that seemed harmless in the moment. A coffee here, a subscription there, an upgraded delivery option, a late-night online order, a quick stop at a convenience store. Individually, none of them felt significant. Together, they quietly shaped your financial future. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about money. Most people assume overspending is caused by major financial mistakes. But behavioral finance research suggests something very different. More often, financial struggles are the result of hundreds of small decisions made automatically every week. The good news is that the opposite is also true. Just as small habits can slowly drain your finances, small habits can also help you regain control. And unlike dramatic budgeting systems that require a complete lifestyle overhaul, these habits are simple enough to start immediately. Today, we're exploring 15 small habits that can help you stop overspending and why these tiny changes often create bigger financial results than most people expect. The first habit is learning to pause before you buy. Many purchases are emotional rather than rational. You see something online. An advertisement appears at the perfect moment. A friend recommends a product. Suddenly, your brain creates a feeling of urgency. Behavioral economists call this present bias. We naturally place more value on immediate rewards than future benefits. A simple solution is creating a waiting period. For inexpensive purchases, wait 24 hours. For larger purchases, wait several days or even a week. What's fascinating is how often the desire disappears. Many people discover they didn't actually want the item, they simply wanted the feeling associated with buying it. The second habit is deleting stored payment information. Companies spend billions of dollars making spending frictionless. One-click purchases exist for a reason. Every extra second required to complete a transaction increases the chance that you'll reconsider. By removing saved cards from shopping websites and apps, you create a small barrier between impulse and action. It sounds insignificant, but small barriers often produce surprisingly large behavioral changes. The third habit is tracking every purchase for just 1 month. Not judging, not restricting, simply tracking. Psychologists have observed that awareness alone changes behavior. When people start recording every dollar they spend, many become shocked by patterns they never noticed before. The daily snacks, the convenience purchases, the recurring charges, the random expenses that seemed too small to matter. What gets measured often gets managed. The fourth habit is shopping with a list and sticking to it. This sounds almost too simple. But retail environments are specifically designed to encourage unplanned spending. Stores carefully position products, promotions, and displays to trigger impulse purchases. Without a list, you're vulnerable to every temptation. With a list, you enter with a mission. The difference may seem small during a single shopping trip. Over years, it can save thousands of dollars. The fifth habit is identifying your spending triggers. Most overspending isn't about money. It's about emotions. Some people spend when they're stressed. Others spend when they're bored. Some spend to celebrate. Others spend to escape disappointment. The purchase becomes a temporary solution to an emotional problem. The challenge is that the emotional relief usually fades quickly while the financial consequences remain. The more aware you become of your triggers, the easier it becomes to interrupt the cycle. The sixth habit is unsubscribing from marketing emails. Think about how many buying decisions begin with exposure. You weren't planning to purchase anything. Then an email arrived. A flash sale, a limited time discount, a special promotion. Suddenly you're considering spending money on something that wasn't even on your radar an hour earlier. Marketing works because attention influences behavior. Reducing exposure reduces temptation. Sometimes the easiest way to spend less is simply seeing fewer things to buy. The seventh habit is creating a monthly fun money budget. Many people fail because they try to eliminate all discretionary spending. That approach often creates frustration and eventually leads to binge spending. A better strategy is giving yourself permission to spend within limits. When enjoyment becomes part of the plan, money management feels sustainable rather than restrictive. Financial success rarely comes from perfection. It comes from consistency. The eighth habit is calculating purchases in hours worked. Imagine seeing a $150 purchase. Now imagine translating it into the number of hours you worked to earn that money after taxes. The item suddenly feels different. This habit changes the way your brain evaluates value. Instead of focusing only on price, you begin thinking about the time required to acquire it. And time is often more meaningful than dollars. The ninth habit is avoiding shopping as entertainment. Many people spend money not because they need something, but because shopping itself has become an activity. Scrolling online stores, browsing sales, visiting malls, checking deal websites. The problem isn't always the purchases. The problem is placing yourself in environments specifically designed to encourage spending. Subscription spending has transformed modern consumer behavior. A few dollars here, $10 there, another streaming service, another premium membership. Because the charges are automatic, they often disappear into the background. Yet collectively, they can represent hundreds or even thousands of dollars annually. A quick review every few months helps ensure you're paying only for services you genuinely use. The 11th habit is focusing on cost per use. A cheap item isn't always a good value. An expensive item isn't always wasteful. The better question is how often you'll actually use it. A quality product used hundreds of times may provide better value than a cheaper alternative that sits untouched. Thinking this way encourages intentional spending rather than emotional spending. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Will this genuinely improve my life?" The 12th habit is automating savings first. Here's something many people misunderstand. Saving isn't usually what's left after spending. For many successful savers, spending is what's left after saving. When money automatically moves into savings or investments immediately after payday, fewer funds remain available for impulsive purchases. This isn't about discipline. It's about system design. Good financial habits become easier when the default option supports your goals. The 13th habit is keeping financial goals visible. Human beings are naturally motivated by immediate rewards. The challenge is that financial goals often feel distant and abstract. That's why visual reminders matter. Whether it's becoming debt-free, building an emergency fund, purchasing a home, or achieving financial independence, regularly seeing your goal helps maintain focus. Every spending decision becomes easier when it's connected to a larger purpose. The 14th habit is learning the difference between wanting and needing. This sounds obvious, yet it's surprisingly difficult in practice. Modern marketing constantly blurs the line. Products are positioned as necessities. Conveniences become essentials. Luxuries become normal expectations. Taking a moment to ask, "Do I truly need this?" creates valuable clarity. Not because every want is bad, but because understanding the difference helps you spend intentionally. The 15th habit may be the most powerful of all. Stop comparing your life to everyone else's. Many spending decisions are driven by social comparison. A friend buys a new car. A coworker takes an expensive vacation. Someone online appears to be living a perfect lifestyle. Without realizing it, you begin measuring your life against theirs. This creates pressure to spend money for reasons that have nothing to do with your own happiness. Behavioral finance researchers have repeatedly found that relative status influences financial decisions far more than most people realize. The problem is that comparison has no finish line. There will always be someone with more. A bigger house, a newer car, a higher income, a more luxurious lifestyle. Chasing comparison often leads to overspending because the target keeps moving. People who build lasting wealth tend to focus less on impressing others and more on aligning money with their own values. And that's where the deeper lesson emerges. Most people think overspending is a math problem. They assume the solution is finding a better budget, cutting more expenses, or earning more income. But the truth is that overspending is often a behavioral problem. It's driven by habits, emotions, environments, and unconscious decisions. That's why small habits matter so much. Each habit may seem insignificant on its own. Waiting one day before buying, deleting a saved credit card, tracking a few expenses, reviewing subscriptions, avoiding comparison. None of these actions will instantly transform your finances, but wealth is rarely built through one dramatic decision. It's usually built through thousands of small decisions repeated consistently over time. Every dollar you choose not to spend unnecessarily gains something more valuable than its face value. It gains the opportunity to work for your future. Because the real goal isn't simply spending less. The goal is gaining control. Control over your choices. Control over your priorities. Control over the future you're building. And once you realize that money is less about numbers and more about behavior, you begin to see something most people never notice. Financial freedom doesn't start with a bigger paycheck. It starts with better habits.